everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be showing you how I set up my bullet journal for 2018, and I feel like I've been speaking about this video for such a long time and just like being really excited to show you guys and maybe like introduce a new area of content to my YouTube channel. I'm really excited and I really want you guys to enjoy this video and just relax and watch it and maybe journal along as you're watching the video if you want to. So I'm also going to show you a little bit of setup for January as well, just because I feel like this video needs to include that in it as well. But yeah, I'm not going to do a super long intro, so let's just get started. So I'm using a very nice turquoise coloured book and I'm just starting off by writing my name in the front. Nothing too special, just really clear just in case I do lose it. And then obviously I'm not going to put my contact information in there. So for my future log I decided to just write the year on the top and then use this navy tape from Paper Chase as a kind of top border kind of thing. And then I'm using a grey Crayola super tip and just doing a little few lines next to the year. And then for the boxes I'm just spreading them out as 10 by 10 boxes, and I don't know why I didn't do them a little bit smaller than this because they did end up a little bit too large, but to fix this problem I just put silver tape down the right side of each of them, and then I'm using the same Crayola grey super tip to write the month and then just a biro to write the days, and yeah, I think that's it. So if you're not familiar with a future log, basically this just always goes at the front of your bullet journal and you can just write down things that are going to happen way in the future, and then when you're doing your monthlies you can copy out the information. So yeah, I just did up to August and then left that to do for another time. So then I'm just creating a 2018 page and I'm just like penciling in where I'm going to write the letters just to ensure that I don't do them too spaced out. Then I'm using my Tombow brush pen to write the numbers, and the 8 really did not look very good. I'm really annoyed that I did the 8 really bad. And then I'm using a silver gel pen to just do a little drop shadow, and then the grey pen again, and then I'm just writing welcome in pencil and then doing it over the top in Tombow pen. And then moving on, I'm just creating a little area where I can write different books and films that I want to see. So I'm using some different tape from the same pack from Paper Chase, and then just writing down books on one side with my Tombow pen and films on the other. I attempted to draw these little symbols but it just ended up really bad, but oh well. And I was using a Crayola pen to do that. And then on this side of the paper I'm just writing gratitude in really big letters. I'm using the same gel pen to do a little drop shadow, and then I'm using these brush pens from Paper Chase just to do a little line underneath. And this is going to be really nice just so I can write like monthly or weekly gratitude. So then for the next spread I'm doing a bit of like school stuff, so I'm doing my exam timetable and I just used a Crayola super tip, a purple, like pastel purple one, and then this really cool like triangular tape. I love these tapes from Paper Chase, they're so nice. And then I'm just writing in brackets A-levels, just in case you guys were wondering what exams I'm doing. And then this side I'm making a little 6-month work tracker, so every week I will log in how many hours I did that week just to make sure I'm on track with how much I'm doing, and just to see, I'm kind of like interested with how much work I do. And then I'm just using a biro to do the work tracker, and then I'm using a biro again to just create a thicker line on the downstrokes of the tracker. So now I'm writing week on the y-axis and then hours on the x-axis, and then I'll just fill this up every week with just like a normal bar chart. Going back to the exam timetable, I'm just writing subject, date, time of the exam and the grade I got, and just adding in the different exams I have, so mocks and my real ones. This is a watercolour that I made before I even got my bullet journal, and if you want to know how I did that I'll definitely post the video because I did actually film it, but I didn't want to put it into this video because it would be too long. And then I'm just adding a little calendar briefly here and then highlighting the days with the grey pen that I've been using loads. So on this side I decided to make a little quote page because I really like quotes, and I just copied one off Pinterest. So I'm using a brush pen from Paper Chase for the light blue, and then the navy I used Crayola Super Tips, and finally for the outline I used my Tombow pen. And then I'm just using a biro to create the little remember writing on this banner. And then I'm using my Tombow to say there are. I actually didn't like how this looked because I found it was too hard to do the thin areas of the writing, so I actually did the so many in a biro, and I did the upstrokes of beautiful in a biro and then the downstrokes with my Tombow pen, just to ensure that I got that good contrast between thicknesses. Then I'm using a biro again to write reasons, and then I'm filling in the downstrokes with a Crayola Super Tip, and then I'm using a biro to write to be, and this really loopy writing, and creating more thickness on the downstrokes. And then I did write happy in a biro, and then I decided to go over it with my Tombow pen. And then finally, for this little vine that goes around, I've just used a biro and then went in with a little bit of colour. I tried to rub it out, but it started smudging, so I actually ended up rubbing it out a bit later to avoid this. And now I'm moving on to my January. I decided to add this in because I thought the video would be too short without adding January, and this is still setting up for 2018. So I used a brush pen from Paper Chase in green, and I added extra onto the top part of the writing to kind of create this gradient look. So for the calendar, I'm just writing out the days of the week. It did kind of go across the page, which is fine. And then I'm using 5x5 size boxes. I kind of regret colouring in the days of the week, but never mind. I'm just writing in all of the days of the week and creating little lines as well. All this spacing is to do with the Leuchtturm 1917 journal. I don't know about other journals. And then I just also created this little watercolour YouTube button a while ago, and I'm doing a little growth tracker, and just so I've got the first day of the month and then the last day of the month, and I'll write how many subscribes I've got. So now I'm creating the habits portion of my monthly. These are all the things I want to do during the month of January. Wake up early, go to bed early, that kind of thing, and then every time I do it I will fill in one of the little boxes. And then I'm also just writing habits down here and a section for video ideas. And then I decided to draw this sunflower along the side of the page, so I'm using a biro to just create the outline, and then super tip pens and biros to create the flower as well, and then also the brush pens from Paper Chase. You guys get the idea. I created this like kind of gradient thing with the darkest shades of red and orange in the centre, and then I'm just overlining all of the stem and the leaves as well. And then I also used a gold gel pen just to kind of like outline the flower, and I really like how this ended up, so I'm just creating more of these like around the page just to give it a little bit more colour, because I do like my journal to be very colourful. I'm using the same kind of pens for the little flowers as well. And then I decided to actually box off the days. I just think it's a bit neater this way, and I like how they're a bit more compact. So for the next spread I decided to make a mood tracker. So I really like how this writing turned out. If you guys don't know how to kind of do this sort of calligraphy, just go onto Google Images and write in Tombow pen calligraphy alphabet, and you'll get the idea if you just carry on practicing. And then I used different circles and created this little 31 section circle in the centre of the page, and then a little key at the bottom just so I can track how I'm feeling every day. So as you can see, I just drew little smiley or sad faces, and then hopefully I'll remember to fill this in every day. I'm outlining the circle dial thing with the grey super tip. I'm surprised all these lines ended up quite straight. As you can see at the top I did smudge it, which is kind of annoying. And on this side I'm using the same kind of writing and doing an expense tracker. I find this really useful just to track how much money I'm spending each month. I'm writing the date and the description and how much it's either added or taken away. And that is it for this setup for 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Comment down below what other bullet journal videos you want to see. For example, bullet journal spreads as a student, or just anything you want really. I'm also still learning how to do bullet journaling, so please bear with me if I make some mistakes sometimes. Okay, bye guys!